Top stories tonight. Prime Minister Philip Davis strengthens bilateral relations. Controversy over the Summit of the Americas. Disney praises Ministry of Tourism, and latest COVID cases and deaths updates. Good evening, everyone. I'm Synovia Williams with your JCN News for this Friday, May 13th. Thank you for joining us. Prime Minister Philip Davis aiming to strengthen bilateral relations before he heads off to meet Commonwealth leaders next month at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM. With that in mind, the Prime Minister reached out via telephone to South African President Cyril Ramaphosa earlier this month. PM Davis, in noting that South Africa and the Bahamas have shared a friendly and warm history in years past, says his intent of the phone call was to nurture a warm relationship between the two countries and to rekindle the shared alliance and camaraderie between the two nations. The friendly history between the Bahamas and South Africa, according to Prime Minister Davis, was first evident with the role played by former Prime Minister, the late Sir Lyndon Pindling, in the abolishment of the apartheid regime in being part of the political pressure from the international community. This led to the release and political rise of Nelson Mandela. He also notes that the Bahamas was one of the first places Mr. Mandela visited after being sworn into office as the first post-apartheid president of South Africa. Prime Minister Davis also notes that former Prime Minister Perry Christie also worked very closely with President Thabo Mbeki on the unrest in Haiti, which soon after led Jean-Bertrand Aristide to vacate office in 2004. According to a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, both Prime Minister Davis and Prime Minister Ramaphosa look forward to meeting in person and having further discussions in Rwanda at the 26th meeting of CHOGM in June. There is currently controversy brewing between the United States and other countries of the Americas over the unilateral decision made by the U.S. not to invite certain countries to next month's Summit of the Americas meeting in California. Last week, Prime Minister Philip Davis, during a virtual meeting with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, along with other CARICOM leaders, lobbied for Cuba to be invited to the meeting. On Friday morning, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Public Service Fred Mitchell shed more light on the situation, revealing that Cuba may not be the only country not invited to the high-level meeting. The 9th edition of the Summit of the Americas takes place in June in Los Angeles, which is home to the largest Hispanic Latino community in the United States. At the summit, heads of state and leaders of governments of the Western Hemisphere discuss common policy issues, affirm shared values, and commit to concerted actions at the national and regional level to address continuing and new challenges in the Americas. At the recent Eleuthera Business Outlook, Bahamian Joseph Gaskin, Regional Public Affairs Director for the Bahamas and Caribbean for Disney Cruise Lines, lauded the work of the team from the Bahamas' Ministry of Tourism, Aviation and Investments that was sent to the Sea Trade Cruise Conference in Miami. The conference, organized by Florida Caribbean Cruise Association, featured 500 exhibitors and over 100 countries. The Bahamas delegation was led by Acting Director General of Tourism, Latia Duncombe, and Dr. Kenneth Roma, Deputy Director General and Director of Aviation. At this year's Sea Trade Conference, the Ministry of Tourism placed emphasis on investments to Grand Bahama and generating more business for entrepreneurs by encouraging more passengers off the cruise ships. Some South Eleuthera natives have expressed concerns about alleged low-paying jobs by Disney Lighthouse Point project. Mr. Gaskin assured there will be opportunities for well-paying jobs as well as ownership. He spoke about the concept of the hub created by Disney. Disney Cruise Lines, that has 4 ships, has been coming to the Bahamas since 1998, and according to Mr. Gaskin, injects approximately $70 million into the Bahamian economy annually. With the month of May being globally dubbed Nursing Month, and Thursday, May 12th, being recognized as International Nurses Day, nurses from all across the country stop to celebrate themselves at the noble work they do on a day-to-day basis. Over 200 nurses from across the country gather for a church service and education symposium in celebration of Nurses Month.
We had over 200 nurses from across the Bahamas. That was virtual, of course. Attended that symposium. We talked about the importance of investing in nurses. And so now today, every year we have a church service. So today we're here for annual worship, praise service, just thanking God for keeping us. The past 2 years was rough. We'll be here, thank God. And also this year is very special because the association is celebrating 75 years, 75th anniversary this year. And so we have a double celebration, a lot to give thanks and praise for.
However, aside from the festivities, many nurses also sought to voice their concerns about the issues they face as they seek improved working conditions, better wages, and retention incentives for younger and incoming nurses. Now, President of the Bahamas Nurses Union, Hamancha Williams, says while she understands that there is a global nursing shortage and the problem is not just limited to the Bahamas, more can be done to improve existing work conditions and retain those already in the public service.
Yes, we do have a shortage globally, and here we have our challenges around in the Caribbean. We have challenges also, not just the Bahamas, but around the world. And so what are we doing? We are grateful for the government that provided us with a scarcity allowance. We're grateful that the communities welcoming our nurses, treating them with kindness as they treat them with kindness also. It's not an easy profession, but it's a noble profession. And we're here to serve the people of this great Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And we ask our government to look upon us, to invest in us. We are in an investment at this point in time. And you would see the Americans and UK and everybody's coming, taking our nurses away. And that's why we're saying invest in us.
The president of the Nurses Union notes that the union rights is fighting for these key improvements as now they negotiate a new industrial agreement. She says that while she can't divulge any information as to those negotiations, she says they are going well and there should be a favorable resolution very soon. COVID-19 deaths in country up 2 notches as the Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 2 COVID deaths, a 67-year-old female who died on April 1st and an 81-year-old male who died on April 29th, both of them residents of Grand Bahama. These unfortunate deaths pushed the country's COVID death toll to 800. 189 deaths have been classified as non-COVID related deaths, while 25 remain under investigation. As for new COVID infections, health officials confirmed 27 cases for Wednesday, May 11th. 178 RT-PCR tests were completed on the same day. The results, 26 people confirmed with the virus on New Providence and 1 person on Eleuthera. 358 cases are now active. 9 people are in hospital being treated for the virus, all of them moderately ill. 7 people recovered from the virus on Wednesday. You're watching JCN News. More to come. Stay with us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Silhouette Boutique Collection.